Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of your OGR, baby, as today is a little bit of a playoff edition one, baby, as the Edmonton Oilers go into Game 1 against the Winnipeg Jets and unfortunately fall 4-1 against the Jets, and we lose Game 1. Definitely not the way the Oilers imagined this game going, without a doubt, where, we definitely dominated this game. On Money Puck, we had an 80% probability of winning this game, but we lost it. And this is a game where I wish we had one back, Connor Hellebuyck absolutely stood on his head after having a shaky end of the season. He was zoned in, and I was really worried about entering into this series was, is Hellebuyck really going to be the man that he was, last season? Near the end of the season, he was struggling. He wasn't playing too well. He was in a lot of loose ones, which, I was like, this is going to be exciting. If Hellebuyck doesn't play too well for the Jets, this might be a cakewalk for the Oilers. But Hellebuyck, did he ever stand on his head? And I mean, I'm a big fan of Hellebuyck, as you guys can see in the background. I'm slightly a big fan of the Winnipeg Jets. Of course, I can't cheer for them because I am cheering for the Edmonton Oilers, but my second favorite team is the Winnipeg Jets. They're one of my favorites, and Connor Hellebuyck is one of my favorite goalies because of the fact of the way that he plays. He's just a tremendous goalie out there, and not even hating on Mike Smith as well. Mike Smith actually played very well, standing on his head as well, making some big saves, just some unlucky ones, winning them back in the net, like the Dominic Tornado one, which was an absolute clap bomb for the point for Stanley. He got a nice tip, and it practically just bounced right out. Even the Tucker Pullman one, Tucker just got right past Larson, which we'll get into those kind of defensive miscues. We're also going to talk about Zach Kassian and the lineup decisions Tippett made, and also the early pulls out of the net, because this game was close. I don't even take into the fact that this was a 4-1 game. This was a 2-1 game. If we didn't make the mistakes that we did when we were pulling Mike Smith, and especially the ref practically kicking the puck, it was a 2-1 game. This game was honestly close from the get-go to just about the ending of the game, up until like the last 2 minutes where, they got two empty net goals, which I don't know what the hell was going on with the Oilers bench, but there was some miscue. And once again, this was, I don't want to blame Tippett all the time, but it really does feel like, the lineups that he threw out there, throwing out Kassian, who hasn't played in a while, but now you just randomly throw him out there for the playoffs. Why do we need this many big guys? Why do we need all our depth forwards to be big hitters? Like, we don't need that. Archibald, Chason, Neal, Kassian, Kara, like, how many big buffoons do we need out there to play depth when we have Tyler Ennis, when we have Patrick Russell, when we actually have good depth players that could actually produce for us, like Joakim Nygard, who is barely even been played but is not in the lineup. I was really impressed by Archibald tonight, though. He was absolutely going and smacking around bodies. I was really happy with the way that he played. Not so much with Kara. He wasn't doing it, but he's not able to control the puck. Like, absolutely terrible 5-on-5. And we say that we keep these guys for PK wise, but we didn't kill a single penalty all night long. Kara played 10 minutes of 5-on-5 time, and every time he was out there, did not look very good. And, I mean, he did have good analytics. I give it to Kara. Kara had a very good night alongside Archibald and Chason. I thought that depth line was actually buzzing a lot tonight and not even bashing him. I would just like to see Tyler Ennis in the lineup over Kassian. And if Tippett's not going to do that, he's an absolute buffoon, because the amount of guys that we do have hitting out there, we have enough. And I feel like Tyler Ennis can just generate a lot more than what Kassian did, and especially the first goal against, which we are going to be getting into, was because of Zach Kassian just deciding to be an absolute moron and go and hit somebody instead of playing defense and, back checking with the defenseman and making sure they're not left all alone, because Larson and Kulikov did not look special at all as well, which we are going to be talking about that defense pairing as well. We got a ton of things to talk about, because this game was honestly a very fun game to watch. It's awesome to watch my favorite team in the playoffs. Honestly, is one of my favorite things to watch. And it was a great game. And it showed in the first period. The first period was honestly so close. There was tons of big hits from Archibald. You almost seen a couple from Kassian. Chason was banging the bodies. Everyone was playing a really physical game, even the Winnipeg Jets. And, I thought the first period we were owning puck possession. We were cycling the puck really well. We were making sure Winnipeg didn't have a lot of shots. Now, we didn't have a lot of shots in the first 8 minutes of the game. We didn't even get a shot in the first 8 minutes. So it was a pretty slow start. But once we started getting those gears going, we started producing. And in that big goal in the second period from Jesse Puljujarvi to push us up 1-0, which was a really nice play from just that entire line. Nurse to Barry to a nice shot from Barry, which ended up in Puljujarvi's hand, and he shot it right at the back of the net. And it was an absolute great start, for the Edmonton Oilers, getting that big goal in the second period, and then Tucker Pullman ties up the game, which was just not a good goal. Now, first of all, James Neal lost the puck battle up against the boards, and then Zach Kassian came from all the way from the right side to hit him. And Ryan McLeod was already over there. You already had Alex Chason already over there, or not Chason, Neal I meant. You already had those guys over there. So we had 3 forwards over there and left Kulikov and Larson on a 3-on-2, and they got absolutely picked apart. Wheeler fed it to Pullman, I think it was, and Pullman just fed it right through the 5-hole of Mike Smith. And this was also one that Adam Larson just needed to grab Tucker Pullman. Needed to make sure they close him in, making sure he doesn't get a chance at the net, because he honestly just flew right by Larson. And this was also a thing that I didn't like about that defensive pairing between Kulikov and Larson, and I've been saying that since the beginning when they started putting these guys together, is that we need a puck-moving guy alongside of them. Either Barry or whatever it may be. Barry was even actually playing good. Barry actually had a good night tonight, and they were producing a lot of offense. Sure, they weren't the greatest defensively, but I mean, that's Barry Nurse for you. They're not that good defensively no matter what. But Barry alongside of Kulikov would work. And I think we need to do that because Larson and Kulikov weren't able to move the puck out of their own zone at all. They struggled to. And that's the biggest reason why there's goals against on that defensive pairing, is because they can't get it out of their own zone and they suck at moving the puck. We need a puck-moving defenseman. Either it is Caleb Jones or Ethan Bear or Evan Bouchard or whoever it may be, needs to be those guys. And Ethan Bear needs to get a lot more minutes because he was playing off his mind and he only got about 15 minutes of ice time compared to Tyson Barrie, who played 25 minutes, which I think is just way too much for Tyson Barrie. Especially for him, he's not a top 2 guy who should be playing 25 minutes of ice time, especially in the playoffs when we are looking to play defense, because Barrie's not that guy. And I actually give it to Barrie. Barrie made some really good defensive plays. I think this was one of the best nights I have seen from Tyson Barrie in a long time, and that's saying a lot, even though he still did make a couple of mistakes. He played one of his best games I have seen in a long time, and that is hella good to see from Tyson Barrie, and I'm hella happy about that. But he's still not playing that defensive game that we really need him to see. And Larson and Kulikov, we need a puck-moving guy alongside of them, because I feel like they're a good defensive pairing, but they didn't have the greatest analytic night. They were actually one of our worst defensive pairings, and we need a puck-moving guy alongside of them. And Larson needs to grab his man and make sure he doesn't get through. And then the third period, it just really, we'd let it go. Dominic Tonnato with a nice tip. Absolute howitzer right into the back of the net. Gave the lead to the Winnipeg Jets. And in we pulled Mike Smith at a really weird time. The ref kind of kicked the puck to the Jets. They broke it all the way down the ice. I don't know what Chason was doing either. He was like sticking out his bum. And it was just like he seen the puck and just didn't go after it like at all. He just sat there, looked at it. And I'm like, oh my God, Chason just didn't do anything. They went all the way down the ice. They scored the goal. And that was basically it. And then Blake Wheeler also scored another empty netter when we weirdly pulled Mike Smith once again when we didn't have puck possession and we lost the game. So rough loss for the Edmonton Oilers. Good positive notes about it though. Mike Smith played really good. McDavid was shut down. He wasn't looking his usual self. But, I mean, look at the old series. Back in 2017, we lost Game 1 to San Jose. And we also lost Game 1 to the Chicago Blackhawks, which I know is a bad example. But usually in the second game, Connor McDavid absolutely comes back in flying lights. And I really do believe that he will. Also, Ryan McLeod only got 8 minutes of ice time. And I'd like to see him get a bit more because he didn't play a bad game, and I feel like giving him more ice time and giving him better line mates like Ennis and Archibald, which I think would fit, especially for this playoff run, playing that as our third line, would fit way better. But anyways, I didn't mind the Archibald Chason line, but I feel like they just need a finisher. Chason is, he had a couple good chances, but I just feel like Ennis would fit in this lineup right now, and especially the way that he played for us last playoffs against Chicago. We need another guy like Ennis in this lineup, another little burst of speed to kind of get this team going. Also, I was impressed by the second line. Yamamoto had a crazy good game. He was all over the place. He didn't have a lot of shots on the net. He actually had 0. But I felt like he played a very strong game. Draisaitl was playing very well as well. Just didn't get any good offensive opportunities. They got a couple, just weren't able to bury in the back of the net. Puljujärvi was all over the place. I was very happy with the way that Puljujärvi was playing all game long. Same with Dominic Cahoon. And Nuge as well. I give it to Nuge. Nuge had a great game as well. And the defensive pairing between Cuckoo and Bear was also good, but I rather want to see Jones in the lineup. But Cuckoo did have a very solid night, playing a very solid job defensively alongside of Bear. So I was very impressed with that, and I hope Slater Cuckoo keeps playing very well defensively, because I felt like that defensive pairing did have a really good night. Even though they didn't play a lot of ice time, they played very strong. But I'd like to see a better lineup out there for the next game. It's only game 1, boys. I just take it one game at a time, and I think we'll battle back in this series. We had a great game 1 against the Jets. We just weren't able to pull away with the W. Give it to Connor Hellebuyck. He absolutely played an amazing game. And we'll be back for a game 2. We'll see you guys on Friday, because it's going to be an absolute amazing game. I cannot wait for some more playoff action. But for right now, guys, I'm going to end the video here. Tell me, guys, in the comment section below what you guys thought of the game. I think the biggest things that we got to go into the next game, what we got to change is take out Zach Kassian. We got to take him out of the lineup. Maybe even one of James Neal or Chase on. We need more speed in the lineup. I really do feel like that is the way that we got to go. Joakim Nygard played great for us during the regular season. I know he didn't get a lot of games, but I feel if we throw that into the speed, and also Tyler Ennis as well, I feel like that would be absolutely fantastic for the Edmonton Oilers. But this is not the lineups that is going to win us a cup right now, and especially, the way that we finished out the game. We got to win these types of games, especially when we dominate all game like how we did. But Hellebuyck stole the game for the Winnipeg Jets. And we'll see you guys on Friday. It's going to be a fun game between the Oilers and the Jets. But for right now, guys, I'm going to sign off here for another great playoff OGR. But for now, I'll see you guys all in the next one. Adios, amigos.